This weekend at UFC 219, Khabib won a dominant decision against Edson Barbosa. Okay. I can't really pronounce Khabib, so I'm going to call him Nurmi. Deal with it. Anyways, many have already analyzed Nurmi's performance during this fight, so there is not much point in reinventing the wheel. What I would like to add, however, is that in terms of grappling, Nurmi is a devastating combo of three tactics used by some of the top grapplers in MMA today. First, Nurmi is a big user of rides and wrist control. This comes out of the folk-style playbook, and in my Ben Askren series, I have extensively studied this. Please do check that out if you are interested. Going to a turtle position, in order to build your base, is an effective way to get back to your feet. Against Nurmi, taking this route is extremely dangerous, as that means getting trapped in a ride and taking strikes for an extended period. This is a tactic used by Demian Maia, and is especially effective against a guarder who is primarily trying to get back to their feet. Do watch my Demian Maia series to study tripod passing. Tripoding to pass the guard gives you a lot of mobility, yet retains your ability to apply pressure. For example, during the fight, Nurmi used a tripod to step over Barbosa's legs to get to a smash position. In another sequence, he walks in the tripod to turn Barbosa's hips into a smash position. Next, he scoops up Barbosa's legs to flatten his hips. Using movement to re-flatten the hips is an important skill for a passer. Relying on just cross faces to turn someone's hips down limits your options against an opponent's shrimping movements. I have made some grappling studies on this passing concept, which you can watch if you are interested. Finally, Nurmi is skilled at standing over your guard to land ground and pound. By doing this, he can punch over the guard and avoid getting blocked by the guarder's legs. Also, by standing, he makes it very hard for the guarder to reach up to break his posture. This tactic of rising to your feet to throw strikes is a GSP specialty, and maintaining your balance as you load up to throw heavy strikes is not an easy skill. However, while GSP was one of the best at it during his prime, Nurmi takes it to another level, and in my opinion, right now he's the best at it in the UFC. How he accomplishes this is quite an interesting innovation in itself. Most of the time, GSP would stand to strike when he was behind the guard, and use it to set up his passes. However, once he got to half guard or side control, he would go back to the normal BJJ approach, of heavy cross-facing and using knee slides to advance position to mount. Nurmi, on the other hand, will rise up to strike downwards right away, while he is still in half guard or even when he is past the guard. He does this by constantly building bases that give him stability to posture up to punch down. Here in this sequence, while in half guard, rather than secure control with a crossface, Nurmi does a sort of reverse headquarters position to posture up. While the opponent covers up, he progresses to a full standing position to strike. As the opponent turns in, he comes back down to a normal headquarters position. Here, Nurmi has passed the guard and has built a base with his knees and toes. Now in this sequence, Nurmi has built a base giving him stability to posture up to strike. Note that as the opponent reacts, he dynamically switches to a headquarters position, maintaining stability so that he can keep posturing up to strike. Standing and dynamically switching your base is not an easy skill, and requires very good balance and reflexes. Because he has this unique skill though, Nurmi can land an enormous amount of heavy strikes against your guard, without having to constantly reset. Each of these three tactics on their own can be devastating. But what is a real game changer, is Nurmi's tight integration of the separate tactics, in a manner I've not seen in any other fighter in the UFC. His opponent simply has nowhere to hide against this continuous flow of passing, strikes and riding. For those who follow my videos, I've been hesitant to call Nurmi's grappling a pure folk-style adaptation, as riding is just one aspect of his ground control. To me, what he does is more a hybrid combination of the three components I have outlined above. Now, I'll show you some examples of how he seamlessly improvises around these three separate tactics into a continuous flow. Here, Nurmi is standing over the guard and throwing heavy strikes. Seamlessly, he switches to a tripod and starts pressuring a guard pass. Unable to make progress, he instantly is back to standing over your guard and punching down. In this sequence, Nurmi uses a body lock to get a mat return. The moment you are down, he has converted that body lock into a tripod guard pass. As you try to kick out, he immediately switches to standing over your guard to throw heavy strikes. From the Horcher fight now. Nurmi here is postured up in a kneeling base and striking. There is only one thing worse than facing a guy who is employing the tactics used by 3 MMA grappling greats. It's a guy who has found a way to combine them into its own unique three-headed beast, able to relentlessly toggle the 3 tactics with no hesitation. That being said, while I do agree that Nurmi is a worthy title contender, I am quite surprised that he is such a huge favorite over Conor McGregor. Do stay tuned for my next video, where I share some thoughts on how he would match up against the 2 title holders. Till next time. Goodbye.